Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today, because it's fall, I thought we would go through and do maybe some fall colored leaves. Now I have a different way of coloring leaves. First I'm going to walk you through just some very simple leaves that you could create using maybe spring colors or something like that. You could use fall colors to do this, but we're just going to use 3 pencils on these and just a light, medium, and dark, but we're going to do them in different ways so that the look that you get at the end is different. Then I'm going to move into more of these fall type of leaves, and I'm going to show you some of my ways of coloring leaves, which maybe is a little different from the typical. Now, one thing to think of is color combinations are fantastic and they're a great place to jump off from, but they're kind of like training wheels, right? At some point you got to take the training wheels off and learn how to ride your bike. And by doing that, it's going to free you up. And so I'm going to discuss that as we go along, how to gain the confidence and how to go about trying to get those training wheels off. So I'm going to be using Polychromos colored pencils. Grab a few. It really doesn't matter the colors. I'm going to be using a variety of colors. I will mention them when I'm coloring, but let's get started. Okay, so first off, I'm just going to color these in kind of maybe some spring flower or spring leaf kind of colors. I'm going to be using Pine Green 267, Permanent Green 266, Light Green 171, and Cream. I'm going to start with the darkest, and we're going to walk through. Now, this isn't a blending tutorial. This is me showing you just different ways to do this. So I'm going to be working quickly and not maybe as, what's the word I'm looking for? Let me get you zoomed in. Maybe that would help. And I want to make sure you can see the pencil. Okay, so turn your paper if you need to, right? But on this one, we're going to work dark in the middle to light on the ends. So I'm just going in with my darkest here. And I guess what I'm saying is this isn't going to be the most tidy one. We're not going to spend a ridiculous amount of time making it perfect. I want to show you the concept. Okay, next up is our Permanent Green. And we're just going to blend back a little bit into, not completely into it, right? The main thing is I want to make sure you can see, because I filmed this yesterday and my camera was directly above my hand, which was not helpful at all. Okay, on this one we're going to go in with the light green now. Now here I went all the way over with the green, and here I'm going to go in with a cream, just to kind of show you the difference. You can get, we'll put just a touch of the cream on this side, and then you just want to work through your colors again. Deepen them up. The idea is you want your colors to fade into the next one, but we're going to work this dark to light, right? And this time I'm going to go a little farther out with my green, this light green. Do the same thing here. But when I'm done, you're going to have these leaves that, even though we use the same colors, are going to look very different. Now you can choose to maybe blend all of this with your lighter color, right? This is a little bit of a toothier paper. You can go in, if you want to deepen this up, you could take something like an indigo blue and come in just right here on your darkest areas, right? And then take your dark green and go back over it, because that will take away the bluer look of that color and bring it back into green. But look how much deeper that came out. Now you might not like that look, but it's definitely an option, right? I think I'm gonna put a little more, just a little more of this green in there. Apologize for the neighbor dogs. My dog's being a good little girl. The neighbor dogs are out letting us all know that they're there. Okay, so there's a leaf going from dark to light. This one, I want to go with the light on the inside and work our way to the darker at the tips. Okay, and then go in with our darkest here. And we can make our way back through our colors. But you can see how this is giving this a totally different look, even though we use the exact same colors. So let's kind of smooth things out just a little. Now, if you're familiar with these techniques, you might want to skip ahead a little bit where I talk about a totally different kind of technique where your flower or where your leaves won't look quite as, I don't know, maybe uniform. as this. Now see, you're lightening up your colors if you blend with a light color like this. So you could use like a colorless blender if you didn't want to get rid of those darks, right? You can always come back in, provided you haven't burnished too hard, right? But you can see how that gives a totally different pattern to your leaf, right? I'm just not happy with it. I told you I wasn't gonna make them too perfect, but still, I don't want them to be too off either. Okay, so you can see that's a totally different look. The third way that you can do that using the same colors is we're going to come in with our dark on this side and on this side. And on this side, we're going to work dark to light. And on the other side, I'm going to work light to dark. Now, you can choose if you want to bring this dark up into the line here, into the veining. We'll do that on this side to kind of show you that. Okay, and then we'll go in with our permanent green. It's really hard on those small areas, but we just want to kind of blend these colors out a little. Now, polychromos take a few layers to really bring out the richness, and like I said, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here on this part of the, I hesitate to use the word tutorial. Okay, and we'll come in with our cream here. But you can see how different this is looking already. Apologies if you can hear that. That's my phone. It's on vibrate, but it's pretty close by, so you probably heard that. I'm sure it's my daily solicitation call. Okay. Let's blend that out. Now on this side, I'm going to start with the light, and we'll see if it changes anything. Personally, I almost always work dark to light. I think the biggest key when you work dark to light is that your darks become, they stay darker. Get our veining in there first. And we'll go in here with our dark. Whenever I start with light, I feel like I lose the depth of the dark. Do you see how much lighter this side is? And then you can go over these lights with the green if you feel like maybe it's a little too yellow, right? But by doing that, that yellow still kind of shines through, right? And you still get a nice highlight. So look at those different ways to color those leaves. Sorry. Very different looks, right? And same here. If I feel like these are a little too yellow, just go over those with your green, right? Maybe we'll do it on all of them. But you still get that pop of the yellow or the brightness of the yellow, right? And then here, let's blend this out just a little. I mean, we want these to look good when we're done. It's looking a little better. Give it a little stem here. Let's give this one this color. All right, so that's 3 easy ways to do leaves. Now, the way I'm going to do this one is a lot more like how I do my fall leaves. And so what I do is I go in and I might add a little bit of this color in a few places, but not everywhere. Same with this one. Maybe I'll color a part of this leaf this color. Kind of blending into this, right? And then I'll take this color and go over that color, but on this side, we'll leave it a little different. And then I'll go in with my darker green and I just keep kind of working these colors back and forth, blending, adding, and kind of creating colors to where they don't all look the same, right? So each leaf is going to look a little bit different than the other one. Now, I very rarely just use 4 colors like this, but sometimes I do. And then usually I'll take this light color, this lighter green, and go over the entire leaf But you see how this one is looking completely different than the other ones. It's much more random. Now you might not like this, and I've seen pictures where every leaf is done like this one, or either any of those, and they look fantastic. And so that is not to say that that isn't the way to do them. I just want to show you guys some options. And I want to show you in this form before we get into the fall colors. So here I'm just blending that out. And then you just, you know, but that's 4 very distinctive ways to color leaves. Okay, for this next part, we're going to dive into some fall colors. And guys, there's no right or wrong colors. There's no right or wrong patterns to this. Literally, when I picked these, I just pulled out a bunch of pencils. So we are going to kind of look at some different ways to do this. Okay, so usually how I start off is I take my first color, and much like I did this leaf, I am going to put a little bit of color here and there. Now, with fall leaves, I tend to think, I feel like the colors should kind of blend into each other. So I tend to put, you know, that was terracotta, by the way. This is middle cadmium red. So see how I kind of blended that in. There is no rhyme or reason. I pick colors somewhat randomly. Okay, the colors aren't exactly random. I tend to choose them from certain color families. My point is that if I'm looking for a reddish brown, it really doesn't matter if it's burnt ochre or burnt sienna or chestnut or something like that. That's all I meant by they're random. So this is Caput Mortem. This is kind of more of a browner red. So I'll bring these browns kind of down a little bit and maybe a little bit here. And then maybe Indian red. I think I'm going to take a little more of that terracotta. Just bring it right, just barely here. Maybe a little bit of light yellow ochre. Let's bring a little brightness. Okay. This one I think will add a little bit of this red violet to it. Bring in a little bit of a purple tone. Kind of blending that into that Caput Mortem that we had. Maybe even bringing a little bit of it up here. A little bit of the brighter light red violet out here on the tip. Right? And then you just kind of do it again. get another layer on there, and it doesn't have, you can go over it exactly the same way as you did before, putting the colors where you did before, or like here, I'm going to bring this terracotta more into that center. And down here, I personally really like purples and oranges together. This is that caput mortuum we had here in this area. A little bit of that Indian red. Now, if you notice, I didn't put that mid red because I want this to be a little more toned back. If I wanted the brighter red, then you could definitely go in with that again. Here's that light yellow ochre. And that's basically it. You can go in with darker colors like this walnut brown if you want to add a little bit of depth here. Maybe in certain areas you can add little textures, right? Often these leaves have little I don't know, little what's the word? Markings or something like that. But I really like how that's looking. I kind of tone back my yellow just a bit with this terracotta color, kind of blending it all out. And there you have it. So I'm going to take a second to write down the colors and be right back. Okay, I am back. So now let's go in and let's do a lighter one. So we're going to start off with our cream here. And I'm going to keep this a little lighter up at the top. We'll go in next with the light yellow ochre. Terracotta. Earth green yellowish, because sometimes these leaves are still kind of green, right? They're just starting to change. So you get a little bit of greenish color still. Maybe a little India red. Down here more words. Starting to change a little. Maybe a little burnt sienna. Okay, then we're gonna kind of just do it a little bit again. Run through those same colors. Yellow ochre here, light yellow ochre. A little bit of this terracotta. Kind of blend this color out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take a little, yeah, maybe just a little bit more of that green. Don't want a lot of that. And then I'm going to take Warm Gray 3 and just kind of, this kind of tones it back a little bit. Personally, I just like the look of this. This was kind of a fluke happening for me to try this color. But I like the effect. Okay. I'm going to use just a little more terracotta here. And a little more of this burnt sienna down here at the bottom. Now you could bring in as many colors as you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with our walnut and I'm just going to add in, once again, just a few little marks on the leaf. You can do these in different colors. But I just like that effect. I like it more on this one than I did on this one. But I'm going to write down those colors and then I'll be right back. Okay, this time I'm going to try and make it a little bit brighter. You know, some of these have like really red tones, almost into the bright orange and pinks, right? So we're going to put some of this down. That is deep scarlet red. We're going to follow that with a little bit of middle cad red. Okay. Burnt sienna. Now let's bring in some of our oranges. I'm going to start with this really bright one, this cad orange. Now a little of these brighter colors really go a long way. So you can always add more. It's harder to take them back. But we're going to go in with that and then a little bit of light yellow ochre. You can see how much brighter this leaf is. And maybe a little India red. Just to tone that back just a touch. But maybe you like it that bright. Maybe a little terracotta. But maybe you like it bright. I think a lot of times these leaves can be this bright, right? This is mid-cad red. And you just keep going till you got it blended the way you like it. This is that yellow ochre. So you can do something like that. I'm going to write these colors down. Okay, so let's move down a little bit. I'm going to work on one of these leaves, and I think I'm going to go into the purples now. So I am going to start with our lighter colors here. I'm going to do a little bit of some orange up here. Maybe just a touch here. I don't want too much. A little bit of terracotta. Little bit of cream up here at our lighter points. Okay. Let's get a little bit of this Naples yellow, or what the heck is it? Light yellow ochre? Okay. Now let's go in with our purples. So, well, I'm going to go in with Deep Scarlet Red. Start bridging that gap a little bit. Okay. And the Mid Cad Red. Now you got to decide what kind of purple you want. I am going to use Caput Mortem Violet. Now this is kind of a darker, almost like a brown purple. And then I'm going to go in with Red Violet. Completely over the top of that. That way I have that darker color with a lighter over it. Okay, back in with terracotta. A little bit more of that, the yellow ochre up here. A little bit of that cream. Now, this is a point where you can decide you want to bring in a little bit of green here. If you don't like that, go over it with a little bit of a reddish tone, and it'll brown it up a lot. See? Nothing's unfixable. Okay. I'm not changing colors here. These are the same colors I've been using. Maybe a little more of that Caput Mortem Violet. And then the Red Violet over that. Bring it up over those reds and the oranges. And then terracotta. And there you have it. Now once again, you can go in like with your violet, or not your violet, walnut brown. If you want to make your veins a little more distinct, right? something like that. You can put your little divots in your leaf, right? You can darken this up if you want. Okay, let me write those colors down. Okay, let's do a lighter one. So this time I'm going to go in and I'm going to color most of this leaf in this cream. Not everywhere, but I really want maybe the majority of that to be that cream. And then this is that earth green yellowish. Just some random green in there. Then that light yellow ochre. Kind of down here more towards the bottom. We'll start getting into a little bit more of the browner and oranger tones, terracotta. Burnt sienna. Okay. And then just kind of do that again. I really don't want too much more of this green, so I'm very careful adding more green. A little more of this terracotta. And then I'm going to go in with that warm gray 3. It's almost like I'm blending out all of these colors with that warm gray. Not hard, not burnishing it, just kind of going over it all, blending it a little bit, toning it back just a little. And then just whatever color you think it needs. Maybe a little more of this light yellow. A little more sienna brown, I think. Just something like that. I feel like if you were doing a picture, let's zoom out for a minute. If you were doing a picture, like these two would go nicely together, like in a group. These two would look really good together. You could even put these 3 together. but they would all be very different. But you could use the same colors, just color them slightly different. So I'm going to write down these colors and I'll be right back. Okay, let's do one more. Let's go in and let's add a new color. Let's add raw umber, because I'm thinking I want to do a little bit more of a brown leaf. Okay. And then what do we got here? Burnt sienna. It's a new color. What is it? Green gold. Olive green, yellowish. Okay. And then just kind of go back over all of your colors. I'm going to go in with the maybe a walnut. Down here at the bottom. Pull that up a little. And then burnt sienna. See, and I'm kind of going over that gray green gold. But that's okay. I'm still getting that pop coming through. And then the raw umber. And then maybe cream. I feel like we're kind of missing our, right, the little stemmies. Okay, this is that green gold again. Maybe even this earth green yellowish. I guess the point is it really doesn't matter what colors you're using. Just have a play. And if you don't like something, grab another color and see what you can do. Do you like this better? Right? I mean, the sky's the limit here. So I'm gonna add the colors here, and then I want to show you a few Prismacolor combos that are kind of fun. Okay. So our first combo, I'm going to use Spanish orange. And I'm going to do this one a little different than the way I did the Polychromos, just so that you can see different ways that you can color this, right? Next, I'm going to use Deco Pink. Next I'm going to use raspberry. Now this is going to be a pink orange kind, more of a brighter colored leaf. So I'm just bringing this raspberry here. For now, just right here on the edges or on the, the tips, and bringing it in just a little. Next up, I'm going to use a little bit of warm gray 70%, and I'm going to go right along the tip edges with just a little bit. This is going to darken up those tips. Okay. Now I'm going to go over that with black raspberry. Keeping it right up there at the tip line. Okay, and then working our way back. So here's our raspberry. Okay, now this time I'm going to pull in a little bit of burnt ochre. Kind of going over that raspberry and into our Spanish orange. We're going to go over it with Deco Pink. Kind of going over everything. And then I'm going to come back in with our, I guess we go in a little bit more just in the center with the Spanish orange. And then I'm going to take this raspberry and kind of go over the entire thing. But as I get to the center, I'm really lightening up my pressure. Okay, now if you want to, you can deepen your leaves here, or your veins here. Kind of bring those out. And there you have it. Now you could blend this more if you'd like. It's up to you. You can bring in that dark raspberry and bring that down a little more if you want it a little richer or darker. You can see how that makes that. You can bring in different colors. You could have used, like, I think a mineral orange would look really good in here, instead of the burnt ochre. But that's our first one. Okay, for this next one, it's going to be kind of similar colors. So this is black raspberry. Just going to go up the center here on both sides. Is that better? Okay, next we're going in with Tuscan Red. Right now they look very similar, but if you blend these out, you will see how much redder the Tuscan Red is. Mahogany Red. Bringing it out just a little bit more where the leaf is longer. Okay, pumpkin orange. But part of this is showing you that you don't have to have the exact orange I'm using. You don't have to have the exact purple that I use. They will change the look, but the look isn't inherently better or worse. This is goldenrod. Okay, and then sand. You could use cream here. Well, actually, yeah, cream. You could use a little bit of cream up here at the top if you wanted it a little lighter instead of the goldenrod. And then just go back through your colors again. Deepening them up. I really like this combination. I used it on a page in Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends. I have not had a chance to edit the footage, so that'll be out. It'll be coming soon. But I really like how the leaves turned out. And then our goldenrod. But you could use burnt sienna instead of burnt ochre. You could use cream instead of sand. You could use, you know, whatever color you want, really. Okay, let me write those down. Okay. So let's do maybe this leaf here. Going in with sand. We're going to put a little cream here in the center. Okay. Next, let's do just here on the ends, just a light layer of henna. Now, most of the time when you color, you don't want to leave gaps, right? Because then when you color over something, it won't look seamless. Well, we kind of want it to look seamed, or to have little divots and glitches. Okay, this is sienna brown. So I'm going over all of this. I'm going to leave some light spots kind of here in the center. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a dark brown. This could be, this is sepia, but it could be, you could pick a warmer brown if you wanted. Like dark brown. Okay, then I'm going to go in with that sand. Kind of blend a little bit of this out. And a little bit of that cream in the center. Once again, guys, you know, this is not a tutorial on the blending part. It's giving you an idea of how to go about finding colors for your leaves. I'm going to use just a little bit more of this sienna. Just because I want to blend out a little bit of that henna in parts. But do you see how that henna is subtle underneath there? It gives it the red without taking it over. But that's kind of a neat fall leaf. You could do a lot with this. You could add a lot more definition with your sepia, right? Could really emphasize your leaves. You can go in, put in your veins. Don't really like that one. Let's see if we can blend that back just a little. Yeah, well, those things happen. Let's see if we can fix it. Okay, so I'm going to go in first with the cream, then with a little sand. There we go. It's a lot better. I like that. Now you could go in and you can play around with this. Did I just color that entirely off camera? I am so sorry. Let me color another one. So that you see how I did it. Okay, artichoke. It's kind of randomly. A little bit of lime peel. A little bit of sand. I don't really like the sand in there. I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to go with goldenrod. There we go. A little bit of that gray. Okay, a little bit of that warm gray 30%. Okay, a little bit of ginger root. All right, so there's that one. Okay, let's try a little different tactic here. So we're going to go in, this is Poppy Red. I'm just going to go in and do the tips with this red. And next up is Spanish orange. I want maybe mineral orange. Okay, then we're going to go into artichoke. And then green ochre. All the way to the base with this color. And then this is kind of a brown, so maybe a little bit of lime peel in there. Just to kind of green it up a little bit. And then back in with our red, poppy red. Could use pale vermilion or carmine red, or whatever red you have. I do kind of like that little bit of brightness there, so maybe we'll put just a touch, not a lot, of the Spanish orange. I didn't think I wanted it, but now I do. Changed my mind. Okay, and then our mineral orange, dropping that in farther into our greens. This time. And then artichoke. And then our green ochre. You can draw in your veins if you'd like. You can maybe pull in a little bit more of that green up into your reds a little bit more. Just to blend them out a little bit more, to where they're not quite as poppin'. If that's a little too bright for you, where's our sepia? We could go in with our sepia, just lightly, ever so lightly, go over all of it. See how that kind of tones it back a little bit? You still get that bright red vibe, but it doesn't quite smack you in the face. And then I'm going to use that same sepia all over the entire leaf. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Okay. Let's do a real simple combo. I'm going to start with the dark. This is terracotta. Now I'm going to do each color. There's going to be 5 colors, so each one will have their own leaf set, so to speak. But I'm going to bring this terracotta up just a little here, and then go over this a little one more time, down lower. And then our next color is going to be Mineral Orange. We'll bring that color up a little. And down just a touch. Then our next color is Cad Orange Hue. I think I may have done those two out of order. Well, do as I say, not as I do. We'll try and fix it here. I'm going to bring this color down a lot. And actually, let's just see if we can fix it. Okay, so here we got our terracotta. Now we're going to bring in our Cad Orange Hue. Were you paying attention, Wendy? No. Okay, now we'll bring in our Mineral Orange. Okay, and Yellow Ochre. And then Sand. Okay, and then let's start over. So with terracotta down here at the bottom, bringing it up just a little. I think I got just a little, like, felt like there's like a build-up there, maybe, not sure what happened there. Okay, and then pay attention, Cad Orange Hue. Bringing it into the next realm. Mineral Orange. Yellow Ochre. And Sand. And then take a look and just see what you think. You think maybe there's like a little too much of the yellow, kinda, so then you can go in with that Mineral Orange and just bring it up a little farther. I think that blends a little nicer. And then the Yellow Ochre. And then the Sand. Okay. And then same with our Cad Orange Hue. Can blend those a little better. Okay. Okay guys, so that's it for today. I hope you found this video helpful. I will have blank leaf practice sheets, just like when we first started, when all of these were blank. I will have some of those on the Ko-fi shop. I'll put a link in the description box below. And you can definitely, you can write down these combinations. I have no problem with that. I'm not judging. I use combinations all the time. But what I tend to do more is once you start using your pencils, once you've played with the combinations, you're going to remember some of your favorites, and it's going to become a little more intuitive. So all I ask is trust the process and allow yourself to get some of these, and instead of, verbatim doing these, maybe pull all the pencils that I list, because unfortunately I just wrote them down in the order I remembered them and not necessarily the order that I put them on the paper. I just encourage you, maybe put those in a pile and then choose from them and play and have a good time, because we did these with the Polychromos and we did these with the Prisma. And as you can see, you can get beautiful fall leaves with either set of pencils or any set of pencils that you have. So don't be held back by the colors I chose or didn't choose. The sky's really the limit. Put in Google fall leaves and then hit images and just go to the ones that appeal to you and try and duplicate them. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and please hit the like and subscribe if this is the kind of content you like. And until next time, happy fall, y'all. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.